Hey everyone, Charles here. And first of all, thank you for stopping by my podcast. If this show inspires you, makes you think, or gives you that courage to jump into action, please help by donating to this show. Click the link in the description and donate. Your donation helps us with production and finding great guests moving forward. Thank you and enjoy.
You know you should be doing something different, right? Hey, I'm talking to you. Do you believe that you have the gift for greatness or have a special talent, but don't have the courage to take that next step? Always wondering how others made it look so easy? Well, welcome to Jump, the show that will bring you special guests just like you and me. How did they get the courage to jump into greatness? Doing what they love and living the good life. So, get ready to jump with your host, Charles Matthews Jr.
Yes. Hey, everybody, and welcome to The Jump. This is not jumping up and down. This is jumping into your future, jumping to the next level, getting to the next level. This is what it's all about. So welcome to The Jump podcast. Today, we're talking about, like you said, changing your life and getting to the next level. I think I got the perfect person to be here on the show with us today. Let's go, Sandy Joy. Oh, my goodness. All right. So she's excited. She's here. Was it Cool Beans?
Cool Beans.
All right. So before we get started, give us some background on who Sandy Joy Weston is.
Ooh. So I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, owning and operating health clubs, which is beyond what I ever thought possible for my life, even though I did dream big. Came from the projects in Jersey. It was a miracle to graduate high school, let alone get to college. And I was a dance major who went to college near New York City at Montclair because I wanted to be on Broadway, but realized I just wasn't that good, Charles, just wasn't that good. So life took a turn, took off a year and explored different things. And no matter what I did, Charles, no matter what I did it with gusto and the best I could. And everything led me at the perfect timing to meet the right person. And who would know I would be an entrepreneur with my life being like one big miracle to me, like beyond what anybody thought was possible. So it's been awesome.
So let's step back then. So the little girl in you, born and raised, where are you from?
Phillipsburg, New Jersey.
Okay, so New Jersey little girl. What does New Jersey little girl think about being when you're growing up?
I just wanted to get out and live. I mean, it was such a tough situation. I was just like, get me out of here. And since I was 4 years old, I've been dancing. Like whenever anyone would come to the house, I would get up on what we call like hassocks. Yeah. And I would entertain everyone. And I'd say, which one of you suckers is paying for my dance lessons? Because, these people can't. And I would keep doing it. And finally, my Uncle Don, thank you, he supported me, paid for my dance lessons most of the time, and most of the time had to drive me to the lessons. And so I would say I just really wanted to dance my life away, whether it was a dance instructor or originally being on Broadway. That's what I wanted to do.
So that was the dream. Just keep dancing. When you were dancing, what was it? Did you go into another trance? Did you just all your troubles left away? What was it about dancing?
Yeah. So, it's really weird. I have to tell you this story that just happened. I mean, I can't believe it in the last 6 months. Everything that I've done to live my life with joy, I've been doing since I was a kid, but I didn't realize it till 6 months ago. Like the systems that I teach others and clients and I hold to myself, I was just like, how did I not know this is how I survived as a kid? And I was writing for my new keynote speech and all of a sudden I was like, holy moly. So I used what my friends call Sandy's My Wonderful Life. I used movement, words, and laughter. My movement was dance. Everything just for a minute to 3 minutes. That's my big thing. But I didn't know that's what I did. So I would dance around to my favorite tune. movement, words, I would focus in on one word and I would think, okay, what's the word today? Joy, peace, calm, ease and flow. And I would say, what do I have to do to think about that in my life while I was moving? And then I would make light of everything and make a joke. And that movement, words, and laughter, I did every single day to escape where I was and get in that powerful mindset to dream big of where I wanted to go, beyond what everyone else thought was possible.
So would you say you had naysayers in your life? Or did you have, talk about the naysayers?
The naysayers. Okay. So I did have my peeps in the project. I call them my project peeps, the ones that sat on the bench every night. And they believed in me. I mean, yeah, it was Stoner P and Sexy Sally and Rockstar John, but they gave me that hope that, Sandy, we're counting on you to do more of this. So my peeps had me and my dance instructor. But the rest of the people, and I'm going to say, let's go with well-meaning, loving people, thought I was reaching too high. And I should be happy to, nothing wrong with it, graduate high school, be a waitress, pump gas, all great jobs, love them. But I think they didn't want me to be disappointed. So they were like, this is good, Sam. This is really great. I mean, this would be beyond what everyone else has done.
Right.
So I don't know if they did. I don't think they were doing it to hold me back. I think they just didn't want me to be disappointed. Or some of the counselors just didn't put enough time into me because the other kids had more hope. Or possibilities. Like where I lived in Phillipsburg, not the whole town it was a nice, middle class town.
Yeah.
Most people call, but there was this little piece of the project where I was from. So it wasn't like you were giving us a lot of attention there.
They didn't look at you guys as the same potential as the other set.
Yes. Like, you know what I mean? And even though I walked there, it was like a 30-minute walk. It wasn't the same. I dressed different, I'm sure. I was in my brother's clothes or whatever. And I just don't feel I got the same attention.
Right. And growing up, you could feel it. You could see the difference. You can see when a teacher or a person, everybody gives a little bit more attention to somebody else.
Yes.
And you're like, wait a minute, I'm craving that same attention.
So I was a class clown. Yeah.
I was just about to ask you, what did you do to crave the attention?
So I would joke around. I would elbow kids. I would dance. I would go, oh, I have a question. And they'd be like, Sandy, not another question. Hey, I have a question. And I can't tell you how many times they told me that wasn't a relevant question. And I'm putting it nicely. What I mean? Like, why are you asking those questions?
All right. So I can see growing up, the dance is there. Everything is there. You remember your first big break?
Okay. Now you're going to have to stay with me, Charles, here.
All right.
Because my big break for me may not be what other people think. So, and I only started talking about this recently because I just wasn't ready. Besides growing up in the projects, which has its ups and downs, my mom battled a lot of mental health issues. So she spent about 50% of her life in mental institutions. And they weren't the well-funded ones. So me and my brother, when we would have to unfortunately go visit, he was a year and a half older than me, but he was more emotional. I had to come up with something extreme to lighten the mood. So when we would go there, now keep in mind, no judgment here, I was 9 years old. Just keep that in mind. I tell him, don't worry, as we're walking down the long hallway to visit her, don't worry, you are going to get a pair of moccasins. He goes, what are you talking about? Don't you remember? Mom makes moccasins in arts and crafts. So that would lighten the mood a little. And then I said, and I'm going to look like a complete moron. And you like that. He goes, okay, that's good. You're going to do something really foolish. I go, yes, I am. So what I would do, as soon as we got to mom's room, I go, hey, mom, everyone's in the lobby. I'm going to dance for you. And I take the wheelchair, pull it out into the lobby. And I always want to go in the evening when they were getting their medicine. And they were all gathered out in the lobby.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like TV. And they would have these little plastic cups, Charles, that they would tie on their chairs with the medicine. And I would bring my little kid scissors and I'd go around and I'd cut the medicine off their chairs. And I would say, you don't need that. Watch me. I'll bring you joy. Now, I do believe that many of them were misunderstood and did not belong there. I truly do. And then others, they probably did need their medicine. But at the time, I was just thinking, and they were mostly over-medicated. And then I would push the button on the boombox, throw on my tap shoes, and dance away before they would kick me out. And that's why I say this is my big break, because in that moment, and I can remember the first time I did this, so I continued doing it when I was 9. If you could see their faces for that moment, that minute, they had hope. There was joy. It was like, and everything was going to be okay. And probably also for me. And I realized how quickly you could shift energy and change someone's mindset. And it didn't have to be complicated. So that's why I call that. And I never did that, by the way. No one's asked me in all these years, no one's asked me, what was your first big break? No one. Isn't that weird? But I would say that was it. Realizing the power we have.
Yes. So that little dance, that change. And the thing is, we don't know when we do things how dramatic that dance of yours probably changed a couple of their lives.
Yeah.
That small little dance a few minutes before they kicked you out and chased you with the scissors.
Yeah.
But doing some things can change things dramatically.
Little
right?
thing. Yeah.
Little small things. So what was the one dramatic thing that happened to you in your life that other people did for you?
That other people did for me. I was called for many years Philadelphia's favorite daughter. Charles, had so many people. I mean, the who's who of Philly supporting me and mentoring me since I was in my 20s. So when I switched schools and I ended up going to Westchester, Pennsylvania, after a year of wandering around, not knowing what I was going to do because I wasn't great enough to be on Broadway, my dance took me into the health and phys ed department at Westchester. And you had to do an internship. So I went and taught fitness dance classes at a fitness center, aerobics. And at the time, there weren't that many trainers, back then. So people would say to me, do you want to come train me in my home? And I'm like, how much you paying? I say, okay, sounds good to me. And never thinking it was going to turn into a business. But I met the most amazing clients who put me on the map. And from that, it built into a training business with 15 trainers. And from that, someone said, hey, we'll help you out. Why don't you open a health club? So my entire life, once I got out of college, I cannot tell you how many people with open arms were willing to help me and point me in the right direction. So many.
So it's all about connections. It's all about who you know, the feeling between. And the thing is, my grandmother always told me, never leave angry with somebody. You never know the circle that comes back to you. Right. You might meet them later, the cousin of somebody, the uncle of somebody. Oh, that was my grandmother you helped. You never know. So I love that. Yeah, I love that you're helping people. And later on, they're like, oh, I have the perfect teacher for you. I have the perfect person for you because it's how you treated them during the workouts.
And you know what the biggest thing they told me, Charles? And I didn't know it. I was just being me. And I really didn't. Coming from where I came, I wasn't, for some reason, impressed with how much money you had or who you are. To give you an idea, and I don't want to throw names, but just so you know, I was training Turquoise Irving, Dr. J's wife, and he was out with his basketball team who were 7 feet something tall, and I didn't know it was Dr. J and the team. And I said, hey, guys, can you carry my kettlebells in for me? And they're like, sure. And then I go in and Turquoise says, did you meet my husband? I'm like, who's your husband? And she's like, the guys that are. But the point was, they knew I didn't want anything from them. I wasn't trying to manipulate them. I didn't want or care if they got me here or there. And because they knew I just really wanted to be there and serve them, they opened every door for me without me asking, which I see is the biggest thing that's the issue right now, because I do mentor a lot of people. And it sometimes seems so phony and so fake. And there's a big difference with, hey, I'm having a meeting because I want this. They can see through you. They can see through they're being manipulated. They'd rather you just ask them straight out, hey, can you help me with this, than trying to work the angle to lead up to it. So that's what I was doing, but I didn't even know I was doing it.
All right. It's time to have some fun to get to know you a little bit better. Let's go. It's now time for rapid fire. That's right. It's rapid fire. We got 2 minutes on the clock, but here's a little thing a little different. You get to choose what questions I rapid fire and ask you. So give me A, B, C, or D. Which questions would you like?
A.
All right. 2 minutes on the clock. You can elaborate, but just remember, you got 2 minutes on the clock to get through all the questions. The first question starts when the 2 minutes clock is on. 3, 2, 1. What is your favorite drink?
Ooh, coffee.
When are you most productive?
10 p.m.
What inspires you and why?
People. I love human beings. I love them.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
What is something that's happening to you right now that's making you so happy?
I get to do these keynote speeches on big stages and impact lots of people. It's so fun.
What is your favorite number and why?
Ooh, I don't have I'll say 3. Just like the way it sounds. 3. I don't have a favorite number though.
That's the best answer. I just like the way it sounds. Favorite cake flavor?
I like bundt cake. I'm not a sweet person, so let's go with red velvet.
How do you start your day?
Every morning before I get out of bed, I take 3 deep breaths and I think about the word I want to focus on, whether it's peace, joy, love, or power, before my feet hit the ground every single morning.
What was your worst subject in school?
Grammar.
What was your best subject in school?
Math and science.
What scares you?
What scares me? I don't know that answer. Ooh, am I going to use the whole thing for the 2 minutes? What scares me? I don't like clowns. I hate clowns.
There you go. And what was the best compliment you've ever gotten?
I felt love.
There you go. I love that one. Well, with 8 seconds left on the clock, you made it through rapid fire. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's okay if you're driving or too busy to take notes. Charles has your parachute packed with all the info you need to jump into success. Check out the links section for all the tools you need to land safe. Now, let's keep falling with Charles and his special guest.
Yes, we're back live. And here's one thing, you said, you wake up every morning and you just wondering what word you're going to concentrate on. Explain that one.
So I have a ritual that only takes, again, 1 to 3 minutes. My whole philosophy is about, it doesn't have to take a long time and it doesn't have to be difficult. But the most important thing, Charles, is how do you start your day? How do you get your head in the game? How do you get in that powerful mindset? So every morning before I get out of bed, I think about the word I want to embody. And sometimes it's the same word for a month. Sometimes it's just a day and it's a week. And it's something that is going to inspire me. So it's a different word. If I'm having a lower day, it might just be peace or calm or ease and flow. But if I'm really going in gangbusters to do a big presentation or negotiate, it's like powerful, excited, and joy. And then I write that word down. And throughout the day, I check in every hour and reflect on it and say, before I do anything, a podcast, email, conversation, difficult conversation, am I embodying, for example, joy? Am I embodying power? Am I embodying peace? And if not, what can I do? What do I need right now to get back to that? How can I get closer to that? And if it's possible, I will not send the email or send that text or have the conversation unless I'm coming from that place, which you can only come from two places, either love-based emotions or fear-based. So if I'm coming from fear-based, I will do whatever I can to shift that so I can come over to love-based, as well as I do journal every morning for a few minutes. I have my power statement. It could be something like, I am a powerful creator. Everything I touch turns to gold. I love spreading joy, whatever is going to excite me. And I just reflect on it throughout the day. And those little things, those little reminders, they don't take long. But man, oh man, can they get you back on track? Because you could be, oh, snap, I'm feeling, which there's nothing wrong with it, anxious, jealous, upset, angry, embrace it all. But do you want to take action from there?
So let me ask you this: those powerful words that you write down, those powerful things, do you look at them online? Is there something you do, or they just come to you? Like, do you say, okay, what's the powerful word of the day? Do you find them somewhere, or they're just coming out of you?
Well, since a kid, I've always loved words, and I wasn't great at grammar. It wasn't complicated, but I liked one word and sometimes two words, and they excited me. So I've written down, even because I have books and journals, I've written down ideas of love-based words. But there are books like Power versus Force that will list, these are all the words coming from love versus fear. But for me, because I've been doing it so long, okay, can I tell you one little thing that really helps me do this? All right. So, and I do this with a lot of my clients. I will sit with my feet flat on the floor and my hands on my lap. And there's three words, peace, love, and joy, that I believe is your pure essence. That's what you embody, peace, love, and joy. So I will breathe in peace from the universe and then breathe it out to everyone. Then I'll breathe in love and then breathe in joy. And then when I focus in on that and I just listen to my breath and put my hands on my heart, I will come up with a word that I want embodied that day. Now, it may be peace, love, and joy, but a lot of times, like the other day, I was doing a difficult negotiation with some lovely men, and I said powerful because I knew I had to be powerful for that moment.
I love that. I love that. All right, let's get to the nitty gritty. I want to know right here. Train your head and your body will follow. Explain that one, please.
So I believe the mind, the body, your spirit, you can't separate it out, right? You just can't. You know, when people say, well, I just worked on my body, but the other day I'm going to work on my mind. So you're all one. They're all connected. But the biggest thing that I wanted to impact on the masses is when you're trying to do anything for health and your body, the quick fixes of just losing weight or going on a diet is not going to work unless you understand your mindset and where you're coming from. Unless you clear up, which I call mental fitness, and really get what you call down and dirty for what's going on up there, you'll just keep repeating the cycle, which you can see with, the industry, the beauty and health industry. It's making billions and billions of dollars because everyone wants a quick fix. And that's just not the answer. You have to deal first with what's going on, good, bad, or ugly, Charles, good, bad, or ugly, and then you can reach your goals.
So when did you write this book?
Well, it was a 6-year process, believe it or not, because I brought in what I call the powers to be, the neuroscientists, the exercise physiologist, the biochemists, the gurus, you name it. I got them together because I wanted to have scientific proof, not just my gut feeling of what I knew of how the mind, body, and brain works. So it took a while. I studied people for a year. It flopped. I studied people again for a year. And then I came up with a journal that only took 1 to 3 minutes, because the first time I did it, even with the powers to be working with me, I made something that was a guidebook. And I said to people, it's going to take you 5 minutes a day. And I said, pick one area of your life that you're going to work on: body, health, love, relationships, money, career. 3 main areas, right? 3 main areas. Just pick one. And it's going to take you 5 minutes. I promise you, after 30 days, Charles, after 30 days, you're going to see a huge difference. One person did it. They weren't willing to spend 5 minutes. And then I went back to the powers to be. I said, what happened here? And they said, well, of course not. No one's going to spend 5 minutes if they don't already have that belief system. Make it a minute to 3 minutes and they'll do it. I'm like, okie dokie, why didn't you tell me a year ago? And they said, you had to find out for yourself. I said, okay, whatever. So I went back and then it worked. People were willing, if they weren't sure and they didn't already have the habit, to take 1 to 3 minutes a day. So it came out in 2018, but it was a 6-year process of studying what made people exude joy. How did they wake up in the morning? What was their secret sauce? And I even studied 100 people that I felt exuded pure joy from all walks of life, from the pro athlete to the CEO to the mom and dad. Like, you want to be around these people. And I wanted to know what separated them. I couldn't find anything, Charles, after a year. And then finally, there it was. Every freaking one of them did something in the morning to get their head in the game. It was all different. Some was a few minutes, some was 2 hours. Yes, some was meditating and working out. Some people were playing jazz music. Some, was making muffins, petting their dog, making lists. Like, it wasn't the same, but they all did something. And that's why I came up with, well, how about if I create a guidebook for those people that don't have that ritual, which is life doesn't happen to you, you happen to life. And
Gotcha.
And that's why it took me so long, because it wasn't like, oh, yeah, Sandy's writing this fun, happy journal. There was a whole process of, I want to make sure this stuff really works and have a foundation for the people that are naysayers, that there's science behind the way the brain and body works.
Right. Okay. Well, let's have some fun before we let you go.
Now time for victory!
It's now time for pick 3. Before we let you go, I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. So give me 3 numbers between 1 and 13.
1, 3, 10.
1, 3, 10. All right. Question number 1. What is the one thing you wish you would have known before getting into this type of industry?
That people do really want a quick fix, no matter what. They really have to appeal to that and then get them in through the back door.
Do you think this whole world's on a quick fix?
Oh, that's a whole nother podcast, Charles. Yeah. Don't even get me started on that subject.
Everything is quicker, faster, easier. They want to just get it done.
And why they don't know? How can they not use logic, even in the health and fitness industry, and see all the times it didn't work, and every front cover of every magazine, and the magic bullet? Hello. It doesn't work, but guess what? They don't want to see that.
No.
They don't want to see that. All right. I'll stop.
All right. Number 3, what advice would you give somebody that's following a career to yours?
Tune out the naysayers and don't tell that many people your big dream. Be very, very, very selective. Choose wisely who you talk to and make sure it's someone that you know truly wants the best for you, loves you, and is an optimist.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I think I love that answer the most of all my guests. When I talk to my guests, that to me is my main thing. You know, not everybody needs to know your dream, and if you're gonna tell somebody your dream, like you said, it's got to be somebody that you know has got your back. That's gonna push you. Because sometimes telling people your dreams are gonna be like, yeah, that's good, Sandy. And then when you turn your back, do you know Sandy wants to try that? She ain't gonna do that. Come on, does Sandy really want to do that?
I cannot tell you how many times. And you know what? It's just like you said. They go online to go, oh, crapola. So-and-so already booked that big keynote, or so-and-so already has that number one book, or their podcast. Oh my God. And it sets them insane. And then they get competitive and then they feel like a failure. It's crazy.
Let it go, leave it alone, and just do you. When the dream comes up, then you can tell people, hey, look what I did. All right. Yeah. I love this question for you. All right, here we go. Name 2 people, past or present, that you would love to shadow for one day.
Obama. I just love the man. Barack Obama, I love the man. And then somebody who has been living in the streets, a homeless person. I want to step inside.
Okay, hold on. I don't usually follow up this question, but I got to ask. You went from the top of the top to the lowest of the low.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I believe everyone has a unique gift in the world, even though you can't see it shine. And President Obama, I just resonate with him, and I think he's hysterical and funny, and I like his wit besides his policies. So I would just, want to be a little mouse on his shoulder. But I also think that you don't see the unique gifts of a homeless man, and he may impact the same way, yet you don't know it as President Obama.
Because he's not in that limelight. He's not in that position to tell you all the secrets he knows and all the wisdom that he knows, because he doesn't have the opportunity.
But some of them that you meet on the street, the stories they can tell, their wisdom, it's beautiful. And they don't know the lives they're changing.
There it goes. Listen, Sandy, it's been a pleasure and an honor to have you on The Jump. Here's my next question for you before we let you go.
Okay.
What advice would you give somebody when they're scared to jump?
Ooh. Pause. Take a beat. Take a step back. Tune out the noise, even just for a moment, and really listen to what's going on in your head. Again, get down and dirty and be really honest. It doesn't have to be all good thoughts. They're not. And then once you embrace what is really going on in there, then you can make progress. Then you're being honest with yourself. And then you can jump big. That's it.
Love it. All right. Tell everybody where they can catch you, find you, if they need a keynote speaker, your book, your podcast, is where you're going to be. Go ahead.
Everything is on my website, sandyjoyweston with an on.com, but I'm also on all platforms, again, as Sandy Joy Weston.
There you go. Sandy, it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show.
It was fun, Charles. This was a really great way to start my day.
All right, everybody, it's your turn to shine. It's your turn to get those tap shoes out and go dance. It's your turn. The curtains open, the lights are on. What are you waiting for? Let's go. Hey, hope you had a great time listening to the show. If you think I did a great job, please buy me a coffee. I still got a lot of work to do. We would love to hear from you, your feedback, so please click the link and leave us a review. You can help us grow by following us on all social media platforms and sharing this link. Once again, it's time for you to jump. Success is waiting.